That's lunch done and the dishes put to the side. Hello everybody and welcome back to Eiersholt. This is now our last winter episode. I think we've had enough of looking at lots of snow and things. We want to ideally get on with some groundworks, but there's still a bunch of things to get done. Three main things in today's episode. We are hauling out manure. I did get that kind of started. You can see we're sort of halfway through the day today, and we're going to move into the last day of winter as well during this episode. The other thing we got to do is we got to keep hauling some logs from our logging adventure. I made a couple of changes there, and we got to get some tractors and machinery into the workshop because they need some servicing. I've been looking at the list just to find out which ones, and actually our class action is due. Our Massey Ferguson went in this morning, so that should be done now, and I brought the action down, so we're just going to get them swapped out. We're going to get some manure on the go, and then we're going to head over to the forest. I have something to show you over there in terms of I've changed out some machinery for the better, definitely. So I'm just going to be lazy and drive down to the workshop here for now. But as you can see, we're up to 1.3 million now. I did sell a couple of loads of logs in between. I skipped the day. I also did another full load of potatoes. And finally, I did some canola. We sold some canola. That's because I needed to try out a new piece of machinery. Oops, bumped the fence a little bit there. But yeah. So our Massey is now fully serviced, including the front hydraulics and the bell spikes and everything. So we're going to get this one shifted out, and we're going to see if we can fit the action in here. Both the action and the weight that it's carrying. It's also got a chain on the background that we used recently, but I don't think the chain needs servicing right now. But everything else does. So we'll just get that parked up in here and see how much the servicing is going to cost. Let's see if we can reverse it in. Oh, it's a little bit tight here, but we'll manage. We'll manage. There we go. I think now that we're running REA, we're going to keep the twin tires on for now. I don't see any reason to take them off. So let's see how much this is going to cost. Yeah, so not surprisingly, the chain doesn't need it. So I'm using the workshop tabber. So you can see our front weight is in pretty poor condition. So we're going to get that repaired for a grand total of 24 euros. And then there we are. The tractor is definitely, that's going to be a bit more expensive. 1,630. I suppose given, you know, you're changing oil filters, air filters and stuff like that, that's not too unreasonable altogether. I'm keeping the chain on there just for now. I will have to take it off. We had two before, and I kind of put one down in the workshop, but it kind of wandered a bit and it kind of fell into the wall, so I had to sell it in the end. So we got the one tow chain right now. So we're just going to leave that there. We'll get the Massey up because we're heading up towards the Massey shed where we're loading some manure anyway. Basically the manure pit was full. The skid loader is sitting here with a load in it still because it couldn't get unloaded at the point. And then we got the telehandler. I replaced the original manure bucket with this one. This one can take 3,500 liters, and we don't want to have to spend all day loading up trailers with manure. So basically, we're not ready with the land area that we purchased to start making a manure pit up there or anything like that. So for the time being, I'm taking the manure down to the center depot, and we're using the manure storage down there. And our voucher is running our small manure trailer that we got, so it should be on its way back anytime now. But while the Valtra is on its way back, I've just hopped back in our pickup truck because at the same time we're going to head over to the forestry area that we purchased recently and that we did some logging in. We've got to get some logs shifted down to the sawmill. But before we just get that going, I just wanted to show you over there that I've swapped out our hook lift truck. I got a different one and it's parked up there. So I'll just head up to the forest and then we can take a look at that as well. So here we are coming in. As you can see, our regular log trailer here is actually decently loaded up for once. It's a bit better than the mess I made last time. We don't have any more logs up in there. There are a few piles left out there. But here is the second one, not quite as tidy, but I replaced the MAN hook lift with the Tatra Phoenix here, and what a difference. This one can actually steer with a load. And so that's also why I sold some canola, because I wanted to try and load it up with grain to see if it was experiencing the same issue with, like, when it has a lot of weight. It does only have 2 wheels on the rear axle. I don't know whether that's the difference, but it just handles a whole lot better with the REA mod at least. So what I did is I also bought the 2 flatbeds for logging so that we can use this one for shifting out some more wood. We can keep things on the move, but that's also because I'll need the other truck to come down to the farm because we are going to be needing it down there to shift some milk out a little bit later. That is another task that we want to try and do as much of ourselves. We can do it by getting the dairy to come and collect it and pay a fee, but obviously since we invested in a milk trailer, might as well try and save the money on that fee and get it done. But lots to do. We're going to get these guys moving down to the sawmill, and then we are going to see how it's going with the loading of the manure as well. Then we're probably going to try and haul out a few more logs from here so we can see if we can get the last ones loaded on. But the MAN truck will just do this one load and then head back to the farm, and we'll get the tractor back up here to the forestry area. Part of the reason why I'm shifting the manure down to the center depot is I do want to put something up here so that when we do start transforming this area, we'll have the manure up here instead. But obviously right now everything's covered in snow. We haven't finished clearing the area in terms of logging. So since we were filling up, I wanted to get it shifted down to the center depot, and then we'll be able to cart it up from there at some point instead. So let's get these guys underway. And while our trucks are heading down to get some logs sold, the Valtra is back and ready for another load of manure. I had a little bit left in the shovel here, so we'll get that. Oh dear, I'm tipping it. I have spilled a bit here. We'll have to tidy up afterwards, but the key thing is to get the bulk moved down. So this isn't the biggest trailer in the universe, but it's kind of our dedicated manure trailer. We do have a manure spreader, and I am thinking about whether some of the 2 small new fields that we bought, whether we should put some manure onto those. As you can see, it's really heavy once I load it up completely with manure, so I have to be a little bit careful here. But we might consider spreading some manure up on the fields that we want to try and run some root crops on to begin with, at least. We'll see how we get on. I just gotta see if I can get this in without tipping our front loader at the same time. It's doable. You just don't overreach here, that's for sure. Once it starts unloading, we can extend the boom a little bit to make it run in. There we go. So we'll just get this one filled so it can head back down to the center depot. There's another good few loads here for it, and I think I'll also try and get some of the pig manure out at the same time, just so that we know we're good for space for now. I'll probably continue putting straw bedding down in early spring, and then as weather improves, temperatures increases, I'm gonna stop putting straw down for the animals, so that we get slurry instead, because I do want to spread some slurry on some of our fields. We do have a decent sized tanker for that, and we might as well make use of it and save money on artificial fertilizer instead. And that's the Valtra full up again. A little bit of spillage in the area. We'll try and get that cleared up while he's doing the run down to the center depot here. So that's us coming into the lumber yard with a very substantial load of logs here, so it'll be interesting to see how much we make for each of the 2 trucks. We're doing quite well for money right now, but we do also have some big investments to make coming up, certainly in early spring. We want to start building up at the new sites, and there's also thoughts about new machinery on that account. But for now, just gotta get into the log sell point here, and then we'll see how we get on. Pack this one up right in the zone first. Of course, in the meantime, we're also running repairs. We got the Zerion done. There are some other machinery that needs to come in and get a service that we're going to be using relatively soon. Both combines and the headers are due to come into the workshop, but that is less urgent, so we can kind of hold off on that. But the Horse Pronto seeder does need to come in for a service, so I'm gonna get that one. Might as well use the Syrian since we've got it. I don't know why I left the doors open up there on that. We've got some clover seed in it. I probably need to get that unloaded at some point so that we'll be ready for the next type of seed to go in. But I'm still working on the crop plan, and that will be ready when we head into springtime here. But for now, I'm just gonna get this one in so we can get it serviced. So you can see it's down to about 70-odd%, and it's a valuable piece of equipment, but it's not expensive to get it serviced. So we better see what we're going to be getting for this whole load of logs here. I'll just turn our view back on so we can see money-wise what we're going to be making. But just gotta take these straps off first, so the guys can get these logs unloaded. I'm quite pleased managed to kind of get 2 decent stacks. That was sort of the whole idea with cutting them in 5-meter chunks instead of 8-meter, was that I would get 2 loads on here. It took a long time. That's why I haven't actually included any footage of it. But and I actually knocked the whole load over at one point. But let's see how we get on here. That is 42,000 for that load. Fantastic. And then we're going to pull forward. I don't know if we're going to be able to get both trailers in. We should do. Just need to pull forward the MAN first here. And actually the MAN needs to go back to the farm so we can get the milk trailer hooked up. So I'm going to send him off while we sell the rest of the logs. And then we can get the Tatra pulled forward. See if we can actually fit both trailers. Yeah, we should be fine here. We can fit both trailers in, no problem. Straps are off, and we'll talk to the guy at the booth. See, I don't think it'll be as much as 42,000, but still 39. It's very close. But that is us making quite a bit of money out of the logging, even though it's sort of only roughly a third of the area that we purchased for 150,000. I reckon we brought in close to 100,000 already on logging. There's a little bit more to come out, and then of course we're going to transform part of the area to something different. I am going to replant some trees in the area, but not as many as there were before. So we'll see how we get on. But the Tatra needs to get back up to the forest area. Our MAN truck is going to haul milk. There is manure transport going down to the center depot, and we're still getting machinery repaired and sorted out as well. So again, winter isn't exactly a quiet period here on Eiersholt. So yeah, this is the inside of the Tatra. I'm just stuck behind our own truck here. Oh, he is hitting the automated truck. Oh no, is he going to get stuck on a tree there? That looks pretty bad, but Autodrive is managing in spite of having a few collisions like that. Traffic is still very, very slow here on Eiersholt, so you can expect that if you got traffic on and you're running Autodrive, you might get a few bumps like that. So he's going to go and haul milk. We're going to go and haul logs. If we have time, I might get the MAN truck loaded up with our animal trailer and start shifting out some of our non-breeding pigs and see if we can sell some of those off, because the number of pigs just continue to grow anyway. We are getting a lot of pigs on the farm, and obviously at some point I want to make a return on our investment of all the grain and pig food that we're producing. See how that turns out. Obviously we want them a decent size, but I'm thinking we might try and take the males out. They're not going to be producing any further pigs, so try and sell some of the larger ones of those off to begin with. So the Valtra has made it down to the center depot here, obviously, and here's the manure unload point, sort of down on the back a bit, but this should do. And I think this is our third or fourth load in total, so 12,000 liters each time. There's still a few runs to do, but it's a brilliant way of being able to store the excess that can't be fitted in on the farm right now. So I'm glad that this depot is here. But it's time to head back up to the farm, get the next lot sorted out. Pronto is sorted for repairs. I'm gonna get that put back in the shed, and then we're just gonna see what else is needing repairs or servicing right now. Roughly, I would consider everything that is down below, say, 80% condition should really get some attention. I know the combines and the headers needs attention, but that I'm not too concerned about. That can be done during the summer instead. Once we got all the grains in, we got the initial spraying done and stuff like that, there tends to be a little bit of time over summer, so I think that's a good time to get the combines out and sorted out instead. So, but that's the Pronto done right now. At least the pile is starting to go down here. There'll be room for more production and unloading of manure to get through. And then I just need to get the log trailer reversed back in again. Now that we got the other IT runner log trailers as well, that's quite handy. But still want to try and squeeze this one back in. It's a little bit tight because it sits right up against the wall next to the bale trailer. So I'll just have to be a little bit careful and hope I don't slide around on the snow too much just as I'm trying to finagle this in. Yeah, that's some tight parking. Better get the shed doors swapped over here, as you can see. They are almost touching there. Get this open. There's our milk trailer. That'll be the first order of the day. I don't think I have a huge amount. Actually, I should probably just check whether it's worth it first of all. You know what? 6,000 liters? No. We'll leave that for now, and then I'll actually sort out the pigs instead with this trailer, while the other things are going on. Try and get some of the male pigs sifted out and taken down and sold. That's our trailer full again, so we can get that going down to the depot, and then we can get those pigs loaded up, and then we'll also see how it's going with log loading up in the forest in just a little bit. Lots going on today. So I'm gonna get the animal trailer here reversed up to the door at the pig farm. And then I got a little bit of sifting to do to try and work through. I'll sort of start with the largest males, load them on, and see what I can fit onto the trailer here. It may be that I take a couple of females as well to make a full load. We're over 500 pigs now. It's going up almost daily, so I'm not too concerned about that. I just want to make sure the ones we sell are of a decent size that gives us a little bit of income as well. Here we go. As you can see, we have 514 pigs, and we have some very young ones here, the 1.6 kilo ones. I'll try and hang on to those, fatten them up a bit, but I'm gonna start sort of 8 kilos. I'm gonna have to sift through. This might take a little while. We've got some 28 kilo ones. Ideally we can get up a little bit higher, 40. I'd like to get up sort of around 60, so we have some 62s here. Now there's a 65 kilo male. We're definitely going to move that one over. Let's see, that's another one, and they'll bring us sort of 300 odd each, so that's okay. So I'm gonna sift through this, and we'll see what load we get on. That's a 74 kilo one. That's even better, although strangely enough that's a lower price than, oh, that's 74 kilos. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so I've kind of sifted through, and if we take a look over at the trailer, you can see that generally we have sort of from a couple in the 50 kilo ones, a bit young really to be selling up, but we got quite a lot up around 70, 80 and 90 kilos to take down, and the trailer is full of males. So now we're going to take that down to the animal dealer. It's not going to be massive amounts of money, but at least we are starting to get a little bit of income from pigs as well here on the farm, which is good. As we can see, got a nice full load here, and we'll see what it brings. We can easily do this on a more regular basis now that they are really starting to breed and expand. Obviously we have a main herd of the sows that are producing a lot of piglets, but there are more coming in, so I think it's really gonna start accelerating at this point. So our truck is underway to the animal dealership, and the belcher is once again ready to unload some manure. So just while I'm here at the at the center there, but I'm not going to unload, but I just want to check. So we got basically 48,000 liters of manure brought down here, so that's the first 4 loads. There'll be a good few more to go between today and tomorrow, I reckon. And the 8R has arrived out here at the BGA. There's not much going on out here. I think I mentioned in a previous episode that we did have a little bit of silage that was loaded up here, but I didn't put that back in when I transferred over stuff from save games, because it's all to do with density height maps and stuff like that. So, but I left the Tego up here at that time, and that is in dire need of a repair. So it is now going to go back to the farm, and then we can get it parked up in the shed afterwards as well. Nice easy job for the 8R here, although I probably should have refueled it before we left, but I think there should be enough here. So we'll get the 8R pulling that back and down to the workshop so it can get in. We'll have to see if it fits in, otherwise I'll have to take it to the vehicle shop, but I hope it'll fit in. And back again for another manure run. I'll just get turned around and see. That's one of the annoying things about the snow and ploughing the snow rather than using salt is, unless I absolutely clear the whole road, I do get these kind of piles of snow, and I think they stay around longer. It'll take a bit longer for them to melt, so I might have to look into getting that tidied up. But for now, I can get some more manure loaded in here. We also need to see how it's going with dragging some logs out up in the forest. So it's only 2:45, but I'm already putting the lights on the tractor here. You saw a fair bit of me hauling out logs in the last episode, so I'm not going to be doing a huge amount of that on camera this time around. Last bit here is a little bit spread out as well, so it's just going to take a little bit of time. I don't know if I'm going to have the load ready today, right now. Or whether it's going to be in the morning, in the last day of winter, before these are ready to haul out. I suspect it might be, so we'll see how we get on. But as the piles are getting smaller, what I'll try and do is I'll drag a couple together like this, sort of bring up one group of logs, then I'll attach this lot, and then I'll be able to bring the whole lot up to get loaded onto the truck. Just attach these. These are going to drag a little bit further behind. This makes it a little bit awkward when you're trying to grab them and lift them up onto the truck. I think one of the reasons I could get the load a bit more organized, and the last one you saw, was that I dragged them up and then I actually used this blade to kind of push all the logs in so they were aligned, which made it a little bit easier when you were picking them up. But I'm just going to be dragging them up. I might have parked the truck in a bit of an awkward place here. But yeah, I'll have to move things around a little bit because I don't want to, oh no, I don't want to hit our new truck with logs here. Should be okay. And that's other drivers reaching their positions, so lots going on here. I'll need to bring in a few extra loads and try and get them piled up so the grabber can get them up onto the truck. But as I mentioned, last episode was almost entirely about logging, so I'll get this done a little bit more off screen than last time. So I'm just going to get the 8R diesel filled up while I'm here. We're down below 3,000 liters left in the tank now. So that is another job, but that can be done sort of over the coming week or so. That's not a problem, even if it goes into early spring, as long as there's enough for the tractors that need to get out and start some groundwork, getting all those cover crops plowed in, then it should be okay. Now we'll see. Yeah, the Tigger will fit in here as well. So I think that's one of the main things I want it repaired right now. Everything else is more or less ready. So let's see how much this is going to be. 639, but this is our larger forage wagon now. That's going to be doing quite a lot of work, obviously with alfalfa, clover and grass. Quite a bit of that is going to get collected and either turned to silage or going into the grass dryer for hay production. So with that sorted, I can bring it over into the shed, and it's starting to get up. What is it, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? So it's not really super late, but in terms of giving you guys something decent to look at in recordings, light will start fading pretty soon. And so from that perspective, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just get this in. I'm going to finish off a few more manure runs and get those logs dragged out, so that is ready for tomorrow, our last day of winter. And that'll be... Oh, I was going to do the baler as well, wasn't I? It was down below 80 as well, so just need to figure out exactly where I'm gonna put things right now. So actually, if I was to disconnect that, pull the baler out, the baler could fit in better, I think, over on this side of the shed, and I can keep both forage wagons sort of side by side, and we got the bale trailer there as well. I think that makes sense. So this one will come down for service. It wasn't dramatically bad in terms of its service state, but I'll get that done while we got a little bit of time. Might as well stay on top of these things while it's possible. And it's not in a terrible condition, but might as well get it sorted. 221 there for that. Our truck got a bit stuck on the auto drive here. There is that box that gets in the way. You're gonna gotta give it away. I'm gonna knock over this sign to be able to try and get around that box there in the corner and see if we can get our trailer dragged in. But that is our pigs now arriving down here at the animal dealer. So we'll see what it's gonna bring. Like I said, I'm not expecting huge amounts of cash here. They're not the biggest. There were some decent sized ones in there, but there was also a few smaller ones. So as you can see, we're still getting 13, almost 14,000 euro for the load there. So I think pigs are now starting to become more than just a financial liability on the farm, which is good to see. It depends a little bit on how regularly I can pull out a load like that, but that was only 30 odd pigs. We've almost been growing by that amount of pigs every day. So at some point, I reckon it's almost going to be like the milk run. It's going to be a daily load of pigs or something. Well, not quite daily maybe, but a regularly timed load of pigs coming down here to be sold off. And that's fine. That's the plan. That's the reason why we invested in them. So it's good to see that it's starting to work. Another pile of manure going in. That is taking us to 60,000 liters having been shifted down here to the central depot. I kind of hope that by the time it comes to move it up to the new area for greenhouses, that I'll maybe use a truck trailer instead. I actually have an IT runner kind of skip component that I used last year. It's just that right now our new Tatra is running logs instead, so I was able to get the pigs sold as well. But when it comes to shifting the manure up, I'll probably be able to use that one instead. I don't have one for the trailer, I only have one for the truck, and I think it takes about 15,000 liters, but depending on how expensive those trailer attachment is, I could get another one. That way I could be shifting 30,000 liters back up there. But for now, just having the Valtra doing these runs is going to be okay for the rest of the day. I hope I can get the cows more or less completely emptied out today. Maybe a little bit of the pigs while it's getting dark here. But for now, I think that is more or less it for this day. So you'll join me again in the morning on the last day of winter, just to get the last few things wrapped up here and look at what there is left to do coming out of winter very soon and into the first day of spring. I'll look forward to that. I hope the snow clears off relatively quickly during early spring. It's not obviously just going to magically all disappear straight away necessarily. There will be a bit lying around perhaps, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to get on to some field work pretty soon here on the new episode, because that's been quite a few episodes where the fields have just been sitting over winter, and I've been getting on with other things during these episodes as well, of course. There is a bit more grain we could sell tomorrow as well. Yeah, no shortage of things to be getting on with. But for now, see you tomorrow. Well, it's not very often that I say good morning or hello sort of towards the end of an episode, but here we are. It is just brightening up a little bit. It's close to 7 o'clock in the morning. I got a little bit of animal duties to do first. That usually takes us a couple hours. Then we can get on to finishing off the jobs. As you can see, although we just touched frost again overnight, actually we have had some of the snow melt, so that is good. Signs that winter is fading. Ground is still frozen at this point, but I think we should start seeing some improvements. So I'm gonna get some animal feed and cleaning out on the way, and I'll just be a short little interlude here, and then we can get back to seeing how we got on with yesterday's jobs. There we go. That's the animal duties done for today, and that actually went relatively quick. I've taken to interchanging where I park the skid steer, so I just sort of start cleaning out the manure from one end or the other. But that shit's all good. I'll close that up. So, obviously, we still have a bit of manure here at the pigs, even though I did do a few extra runs with the Valtra down to the center depot. So in here we got about 28,000 litres. So I would say another 2 to 3 loads in total for the Valtra today. So that's pretty light duty. I'll do that as we wrap up this episode. But that means we have shifted close to 120,000 litres down to the center depot. And that's sitting ready for use when we get some greenhouses built up. I brought back the truck last night with the lights on because I'm basically wrapping up the forestry work in terms of sort of running late night. There's a load of logs sitting up there ready to take down, but I also need to bring up our other truck, our MAN truck, because the low loader is sitting up there, and I need to bring back the Lieber excavator. We have a ton of money now, actually, after selling the logs and everything like that. We have made a pretty penny, and that is good, because by the time I start putting stuff in here, I just realized there was a couple of logs left right up in the corner. Well, they might have to wait, or I'll cut them up and put them into the rear of the pickup trailer at some point instead, because here we are. The truck is loaded up, and I don't think there's much point in starting to chase down the last couple of sticks out there. They can be dealt with separately. So I'm gonna get the low loader hooked up here so we can get the lifter back on that, and then I'm gonna take the logs down to the sawmill, and I think that is kind of a good place for us to wrap up this episode. I know that there's still plenty of daylight, but we went on quite a bit yesterday. So obviously today is really just wrapping up this last day of winter, and see if I can get this machine back over onto our low loader and brought back. It's below 75%, but it really only does work for this type. I have thought about, I might actually bring it back up here and have it sitting sort of next to a pile of manure and then use it to load into a trailer or something like that, but I haven't really settled on that yet. So for now, it's gonna come back to the farm and get put back in the shed until these areas up here are a little bit more developed. That's gonna take a little while. I'm not gonna rush that. There's no sort of super urgency on it in that sense. It's more something to explore and try out with the different areas. But that's this truck sitting ready. I'll come back and get him. But I think last load of logs for the winter, we're gonna take that down in our new Tatra Phoenix that can actually drive with the IT runner stuff on. So thank you very much to Holden, who left a comment suggesting I tried this one instead. It has made a massive difference, because I was actually thinking about getting rid of all of the IT runner stuff, which I think would be a shame, because it's a really versatile way of being able to work on the farm and run a truck that can kind of change purposes really quickly and easily. So we'll get this load down, and it'll add a little bit to our pile of cash, but don't worry, I'm not going to be hoarding it. It is going to start disappearing fairly quickly. I do need to take a look at the two new fields, the two smaller fields that we have bought in. What fertilizing, plowing and lime state they're at. I think we're pretty much on top of everything else in terms of plowing and lime, but because I put a lot of lime on in the autumn, albeit on the old version, but when I then kind of changed the field states back to where they were. I made sure to reflect where lime had been spread the year before. Anyway, I got my giant software mug sitting there with a bit of coffee in. Have a sip of that and drive this load down to the sawmill, and I'll see you there in a bit. Yeah, I think it's good. We got some good logging done without it becoming such a burden that, wow, 49,000. There was quite a bit on there, but I hadn't expected quite as much as that. That takes us over 1.5 million. That is pretty good because I do want to make some significant investments as we get into spring, but we do need to remember to keep money for seed and fertilizer, of course, as well. But that is going to do it for this episode. And with a last look over the fading wintry landscape, as we move into spring, hopefully we'll start seeing a little bit more green, a little bit more soil, and an opportunity to get on with some field work. Normally winters on Eiersholt has been a bit of logging and just sort of maintaining the animals, but there's actually been a lot to be getting on with this time around. In part, that's because we had a big harvest, and obviously we're going to have a big harvest in the coming years, so shifting grain is still going on, and basically as we wrap up this episode, I got some manure to haul, and I'm probably going to be selling a couple of loads of grain more as well. We can swap our new Tatra truck over, but you've seen plenty of that in the last couple of episodes, and I think it's time for the series to kind of move on into springtime. So in not too long, I will see you in a springtime episode. But for now, I hope you enjoyed watching here on Overcord Gaming. Thank you very much if you made it to the end. Thank you to all the subscribers of the channel. It means a lot to see so many people that are enjoying the content. But for now, thank you very much from Overcore Gaming, and see you again soon.